Hello YouTube, this is Ben Gessel. How's it going? Before it gets too dark, I just wanted to kind of show you, well, we'll talk about some stuff and go on a teensy walk here for a bit on Sunday. I'll try to make maybe a few videos. At least there's a lot of things in my mind, but of course, but I can have a dentist appointment tomorrow. That's gonna be lots of fun. Anyway, I've been watching a gentleman on YouTube recently who's a really funny guy, really cool guy, and I do recommend that you guys check out his channel. Of course, like a lot of these things go, I know his name, it's probably not a big deal, I mentioned his name, it's his first name, but the channel is called Vegetable Police. That's Vegetable Police, two different words, Vegetable Police. Anyway, you guys can, if you guys really want to know his name, I can tell you in like a message, but I think, generally speaking, a lot of folks like to keep, I don't know, those things somewhat incognito. At least, I don't know. Everybody's a little different that way. So, anyway, but no, I've been watching this guy in his channel, and he's a really funny guy, and he has, you guys would get a kick out of his, he's a really funny guy. And he likes to eat, soaked nuts. So you soak nuts overnight in water, and you eat them that way, and it gets rid of the phytic acids. But I should do that more myself, because I eat a fair amount of nuts. They're not a major part of my diet, but I could certainly eat them more in the future than I do now, and yeah, might be a good idea. But I think we're just kind of used to eating nuts the way that we've been eating them, and just anyway. So you kind of treat nuts more like beans that way. Beans you just can't eat, like unless you soak them, obviously. But nuts you can. It's just you probably should soak them as well. Anyway, and he has vegetables, and sometimes he's had fruit and stuff, tropical fruits especially. But it's just that I can put this. My thoughts here kind of somewhat revolving around this channel I'm watching here. It's kind of newer channel I'm watching, and he doesn't eat any meat, and I know why. It's a multifaceted thing. I mean, the cool thing is he's always sometimes trying to find a little bit better diet, or he's trying to find a better life thing, or he wants to be healthier, even more than he is now, and he's actually very healthy as it is. And one of the most interesting things that he's talked about recently, which I actually kind of agree with, is that it's true. It's for guys. This is both for guys and girls, but especially for guys. It's true. We do want some muscle. It's good to have muscle. It helps you be healthier. It helps your metabolism. It helps in so many ways. But at a certain point, when does having muscle become an excessive kind of thing, or unhealthy? If you have, most folks don't really have very huge bones. If you have really big bones, you're really big boned or thick boned, or just have a large bone structure, it's easier for you to pack on a lot of muscle without it getting to see something that's kind of weird looking. I mean, if you're very slender boned, you put on a whole lot of muscle, use things like creatine and stuff, you could end up having a lot of flab in the future, or just not necessarily fat, but your body proportions in some respects might start to look a little weird, a little bit. But it's just I agree with him that the bodybuilding, weightlifting craze is kind of, there's a side to it that can be very excessive and unhealthy, even. But it depends on, everybody's a little different. But if you're a slim guy, naturally slim, if your bone structure is slimmer, you probably shouldn't go beyond. It all depends how tall you are, but I would say if you're heavier than 300 pounds and you're actually slender boned, that's probably not very healthy. And this in the name of, muscle. If a lot of it's, if actually a lot of it's muscle, you might think that's really healthy, and it is. It's certainly healthier than being chubby, that range. But that's really crazy if you're slender boned and you're short and you weigh that much. That's extremely unhealthy. But if you have a muscle, it's healthier. But think of, so you maybe a lot of animal protein to feed the muscle, right? And you're eating a lot. Well, you don't want your food budget to be too high, or you want it to be affordable. If you eat a lot of calories, sometimes you sacrifice quality. It's just that most people just can't do that kind of thing where they're eating a whole lot to feed the muscles. And why do you need all that muscle? Is it something self-defense related, or is it more something that is, what is it all for? If you are working really hard at a blue collar job or something that requires a lot of strength, like if you're a lumberjack, it makes a little bit more sense. But it also kind of depends on, if you're a lumberjack, of course, how much do you actually enjoy working those kinds of jobs, and how tough are you? And I imagine those guys think nothing of splinters, and they just, just everybody's a little different. But yeah, it just look, to be a big muscly guy is not, if you're not more naturally that way, cool. If that is something that, you can be very lean and very healthy that way and put on a little bit of muscle and you'll be just fine. But again, at a certain point, if you start getting really, really strong, but you're, eating in excess of 4,000 or 5,000 calories, and you're just not a huge guy naturally, that's a little crazy. If you're more physically active, that's okay, I think, but that's a lot of calories. I don't know. There's one guy, he's a strongman. You guys have heard of the strongman competition, I think. His last name is Shaw. He lives in Canada, I think. I think he's Canadian. But this guy is massive. He's just massive. His arms are like boulders. His whole body just looks like he's just huge. He's always eating. And he eats a ton of, basically mostly really healthy food. A lot of, you could probably guess, a lot of chicken and meat and tuna and eggs and probably a little bit of dairy, but not a whole lot. And then a lot of vegetables and a lot of grains, especially rice and things like that. Potatoes. So filling foods that are healthy, and not really a heck of a lot of fruit. A little bit. But he's really heavy on the proteins and fats and things, of course. So it's more of a high protein thing. But he's always eating. And my dad asked me, I mentioned him, and my dad asked me, well, what is he using his strength for? I'm like, well, it's great to know someone that is that strong. You could, you don't need a jack for a car. You can just have him hold on the car. But I actually had to ask myself the question, what does he use his strength for? Of course, you have the strongman competitions, and you have guys that maybe they, trying to go for the first place and win some money or whatever. I don't know, but I think the more I think about it, it is a little bit of an unhealthy obsession to get that big. And creatine monohydrate is kind of, I don't know. It's like it ages you faster, having all that protein, having all that creatine. And there's someone I know who used creatine and got really strong, much stronger than me, and he was about my size growing up. And but it's not a big deal. But basically, his hair is white now, or it's gray. It's very gray, and it's unusually that color. For his age, he's not that old, and he's already got all gray hair. How did that happen? Well, I'm wondering if it might be a little bit of genetics, but it might actually be more due to that creatine he took. So when all these people came out with all this stuff a while back to help you with weightlifting, there wasn't really a lot of research regarding. We knew that it would help you get stronger. We just didn't know if that would age your body faster. So, the crazy thing is, again, as you guys know, there's all these things that are out there now that can help you be this or that or this or that or this or that. We just don't always know what the health effects of these things are going to be. We just don't until we do more research on these things for those purposes. So, I mean, yeah, again, Vegetable Police is right. There's just a lot of things we just don't know about regarding all the things to help you get really, really buff. And you don't need to be that huge. And, anyway. So a little bit different train of thought here. I mentioned some things about this before, but I want to go through kind of a short list, again, of maybe some gripes and things about different grocery stores in the area. In my area, Washington, Western Washington. But, if these stores, again, are nearby you, where you guys live, I mentioned this stuff before a little bit, but, but you guys can understand what I'm saying here. So again, PCC Natural Markets is really awesome. Really, really awesome place. And like farmers markets, I need to go to some of these sometime in July, especially in August. I was trying to go to Trader Joe's recently to save some money. I kind of did, sure, but the thing is that the nectarines I got at Trader Joe's, for instance, were just amazing. The avocados were perfect. The nectarines of avocados, amazing. And they had a lot of great produce. But the berries and the cherries and things, they weren't exactly the highest quality. And then they put out the Rainier cherries outside. I didn't even see them until I was done shopping. I was like, oh, great. At least the nectarines are great. So, Trader Joe's, I mean, what can I say? They're kind of hit and miss. I mean, it's frustrating. And I got some beef from Trader Joe's, and it was kind of something where it was good enough to eat, but they had a teensy bit of brown going on underneath one of the steaks I couldn't see from looking at the package earlier. I'm like, well, great. So I'm now eating something, and I know there's the oxidation iron thing, and those of you guys who don't eat meat are kind of probably laughing at this when you're saying, meat eaters, have to do it. Yeah, that's okay, I can take it. But the thing is it was frustrating. I mean, I was expecting a really great steak, and so I think I ended up cutting off the end of this stuff. But the thing is I don't know how Trader Joe's sometimes they have some amazing, very high quality stuff, and then other times it's just what the heck, and it's just like a really hit and miss thing. And the prices are pretty decent still. And I guess I just want to mention a few things, mainly about Trader Joe's. And I keep finding farmers markets and PCC natural markets around here. I haven't been to Whole Foods for a long time. There's really no point to it if you go to PCC, other than getting Amchor, a few little things that are hard to find at PCC maybe. But I mean, I want Trader Joe's to up its game a bit. If they have to charge a bit more, okay. But Trader Joe's should be more competitive with Whole Foods and with PCC natural markets, and with Central Market, those kinds of upscale stores around here that just try to sell